This is the Military and Aerospace Electronics Report. I'm John Keller. One of the most compelling icons of military heroism is the fighter pilot. We've all got images in our minds of the leather helmet-clad, goggles-wearing Sopwith camel pilot taking off from a grassy airstrip, white silk scarf streaming out behind his open cockpit as he flies off toward the morning sun to do battle with the Red Baron and his Fokker triplane. We've heard the stories about the Marine Corps pilots in their Gullwing F-4U Corsair fighters taking off from hastily built dirt runways on Guadalcanal to test their mettle over the slot against their Japanese adversaries. How about the RAF Spitfires and Hurricanes in close combat with German Messerschmitts over the English Channel, and the Air Force Sabre jet pilots meeting their North Korean adversaries over fabled MiG Alley? And who hasn't seen Tom Cruise in his Navy F-14 Tomcat tearing up the competition in the movie Top Gun? The cult of the fighter pilot. It's a colorful culture that's deeply rooted in our national psyche. You need look no farther than the Peanuts comic strip for evidence of that. Take it from me. Sit down in a bar with a table full of fighter pilots and you'll have a night to remember. I'll just leave it at that. So, it's with a twinge of sadness and regret that I see the era of the fighter pilot rapidly coming to a close. Oh, we'll have fighter aircraft for a long time yet, no worries there. But in the future, it seems the majority of the fighter planes in the air will be without fighter pilots. At least not those actually sitting in their aircraft flying them. Development is progressing quickly on new generations of unmanned combat aircraft. The military services now are starting to purchase the Raytheon Griffin missile, which is designed specifically for unmanned aircraft. We have unmanned aircraft that can stay aloft for days now, even longer if they can be refueled in flight. Although these high-endurance UAVs are just for reconnaissance today, it won't be long before we see them carrying bombs and missiles. The era of the unmanned combat aircraft is rapidly approaching. And nostalgia aside, this is probably a good thing. Even with the most skillful pilots in the world, the human in the cockpit remains the Achilles heel of modern combat aircraft. Humans black out in the fastest, tightest turns and require oxygen, heat, and cooling to survive the harsh environment of high altitudes. That takes extra equipment, which means compromises in speed, maneuverability, size, weight, and even fuel consumption. There are also political and cultural concerns. When a fighter pilot gets shot down today, it makes above-the-fold headlines in every newspaper. Did he survive? Is he being hunted? What are the plans to rescue that stricken pilot if he was able to eject safely? You think a crashed UAV would generate such attention? I think probably not. So with this in mind, how long can we justify building large numbers of advanced jet fighters designed to accommodate human pilots in the cockpit? Probably not for much longer. So, future generations of fighter pilots will fly their aircraft from control stations located safely on the ground. They'll punch out in the evening and go back to their families after turning over control of their aircraft to the next shift. Not much need for the silk scarf anymore. Some of us in our off hours might still run into fighter pilots at the bar, just those who maneuver the aircraft from control stations on the ground. I just wonder if listening to their war stories over a beer will be the fun that it once was. For the Military and Aerospace Electronics Report, I'm John Keller.